Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Change Heroes figures for the remaining 4 members of Avataro Sentai DonBrothers. We have Oni's sister, Inu brother, Kiji brother, and Saru brother. So these were available individually or as a large group pack, but as you may remember, Avataro came out singly a while ago back when the Enya Rhydon came out, so I got that one at that time, so I opted obviously not to get a duplicate, so I did not get the 5-pack and I just bought the remaining 4 members individually here. But the packaging is pretty standard for these. You can see they just kind of show the posability here on the back. They don't come with any accessories for the most part. Saru brother doesn't have anything. Kiji brother really just has his wings. Inu brother comes with this large shuriken. I'm assuming just because he's rather small. But then again, Oni's sister does come with this giant like club weapon, which we haven't seen her use yet in the show, unless it happened in the episode that just aired last night that I haven't seen yet. So I don't know, do they all have individual weapons? Why do 2 of these guys not have weapons? I guess only time will tell. But pretty cool packaging. It's pretty standard, not really too much going on, just kind of shows the figure on the back and then your usual warnings and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead, get all 4 of these out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the 4 figures out of the packaging. And just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and drop a Avataro in there so we can see what it looks like with the full team. Really cool. I like that a lot. So we'll dive into each one of these figures individually here. So we have Inu brother. And he's probably definitely the most kind of comically proportioned because he's got the giant head and the really thin arms and legs and then really big hands and feet. He comes with the shuriken here. Now, unfortunately, it is hollow on the other side. Not a big problem, but it just would have been nice if they could have done, you know, the same thing on both sides. He's got a little spot here so he can hold it in his hand. The figure has some pretty nice paint applications. I think the head looks good. And that is on a ball joint. You have just a swivel at the shoulders because it's so thin. Now, the hands are kind of just like on these large, like kind of mushroom pegs, but I can't tell if I'm supposed to kind of slot it in from the side. I don't think so. I think it just plugs in, but there's a pretty noticeable gap there. But you do at least have some wrist swivel there. You do have a waist swivel, and this actually can come apart if I move the arms and legs out of the way. You can pop that off. Now, I assume that's a standard size peg with everybody else, so you probably could mix and match. Just for fun, let's go ahead and try it out. Yeah, so that is the same size peg, so you could do some crazy, ridiculous looking things if you like. Pop him back over here for a second. Nice paint applications there on the belt buckle. And then he's got a little tail out the back. I don't think you can move the tail. I thought at first maybe it was a ball joint, but I don't believe it is. You have a swivel for the waist, so just a front and back swivel. And then you have kind of a ball joint for the foot. If I actually try to pop this off, I'm a little wary just because it feels not like it's going to break, but just because everything's so thin, I feel like if I pull something too hard, I'm just going to snap it off. So I think there's kind of, it's a ball, you can tell it's a ball joint functionality there for those large feet. And then you have some nice paint applications for his knee pad. So he doesn't really have knees. He kind of just has hips and then these large like circular disc cuffs for the boots and then the giant feet. So he's definitely the most limited in articulation out of the whole set. But he's still pretty fun. I like him. And he's got this massive weapon. So definitely a very stylized figure. Next we'll move on to Saru brother. I think this one might be my favorite. He's just got kind of a fun build to him. He's definitely more stocky. He's even got the red baboon butt, which is absolutely hysterical. Nice paint applications on the helmet. You have a swivel at the base of the neck and then a ball joint for the actual head. You can't really get much in side-to-side tilt. I mean, this whole thing unpegs, so you have a little bit of movement there, but in terms of the head... Actually, it might just be a hinge. I think it might just be a hinge, actually, because then you swivel at the base of the neck. Nice hinge, and it's actually just a peg. You can kind of pull this out. You should be able to pop this all the way out. It doesn't want to come out. Alright, again, I'm not going to break it, but you can see that there's a little bit of movement there, so you can get really nice posability out of that. You have a bicep swivel, you have an elbow, you have wrist movement, and those are ball joints, so you can pop those out. You have the waist swivel, like I showed earlier. You have a nice ball joint for the hip, so you got a lot of nice range of motion there. Thigh swivel, 90-degree bend in the knee, and then you have a ball joint for the ankle. Now the boots are kind of hollow, which I'm surprised about. Not a problem or anything, but I was just kind of surprised about that. But he's got some nice paint applications, the buckle, the knee pads, the chest, and the head. Even has a little bit of black here. Actually, that might just be molded plastic. Yeah, I think that's just a separate piece of plastic. But yeah, overall, I really like him. I think he looks good. Next, we'll move on to Oni's sister. Probably the most uniform-looking figure. And when I say that, I mean in terms of like Yudo and Sodo and kind of the basic shape. It doesn't have any kind of crazy proportions or anything. But yeah, she looks good. Again, nice paint applications there on the head. Her articulation is very similar to Motaro. You have a swivel at the neck. And then you have, yeah, that is just a hinge, so it's not a ball joint. You can see it much easier on hers. Just a swivel there and a rotation. You have the shoulder pads that are connected to the top of the arms. Very similar to how Sodo does it. And you can pull these out. Can you take these all the way out? It doesn't feel like it wants to, but you can see there's a lot of range of motion there, so you can get whatever posability out of that you need, just kind of pull it away. And then you can spin that around. Hinge, you have bicep swivel, 90 degrees at the knee. At the knee, that's the elbow. Can't go backwards. It's actually, you can see it's molded there to not go backwards, so nice 90-degree bend at the elbow. Ball joint in the wrist. You have a swivel at the waist. She's got these skirt pieces, so it's 4 individual skirt pieces, so as not to limit articulation. Kick pretty far out to the side. Kick to the front. And she cannot kick back. Now, you can see that there's kind of a little butt piece molded in there to prevent her from kicking backwards. So, thigh swivel there. Little over 90 degrees there in the knee. And then ball joint for the ankle. And then she comes with this massive club weapon that is hollow on the back, which is kind of a bummer. Looks fine from the front. But then when you try to move it around, if you see the back of it, it looks kind of terrible. But overall, really nice figure. Again, nice paint applications. Kneecaps here on the front of the skirt, front of the chest, and the head. So she looks pretty good. I mean, you have to balance the weight with that club because it's pretty large. And then we have Kiji brother. This guy's ridiculous. Now, a lot of people have reported problems with the wings, so be very careful with them. Apparently what's happening is the kind of stalks here, because of the way this is done, they put a stalk on his back that has a ball joint, and then the wing connects to that stalk. What I would have done is just had the wing be a solid piece with a stalk and the ball joint all attached to the wing, and then just put the holes on the back. I feel like that would have worked a lot better in terms of durability. But so just be a little careful. I mean, you can see that there's a ball joint right there, so you can kind of move the wings up and down. But just be careful because the stalks are kind of breaking where they attach to the back. So just be a little careful when you're handling this guy. But he's got a hinge and a swivel again. Hinge at the base of the skull, swivel at the base of the neck. Really nice paint applications there. Kind of a nice matte finish for the visor, which I really like. He has also got a hinge and a swivel in the shoulder. Shoulder pads again connected there. You have 90 degrees in the elbow. His elbow actually can go backwards, so I guess you have 180 degrees there. Got the ball joint in the wrist. Got the swivel at the waist. Again, very, very thin. He's got kind of fun, distorted proportions, just like Inu brother. Ball joint there at the hip. He's got these massive knee joints because his legs are so thin, so I get it. But they just look kind of ridiculous, just hanging off the back there. Again, you have some knee pads there, and then you have a ball joint here at the base of this large foot. And you have some nice paint applications for the toes, which is cool. So he looks good. I really like this one a lot. I think it's fun. I would just be very careful when handling the wings because they can break off, as I've seen a few people report on Twitter. So just be a little careful with that. But he actually stands pretty well, holds his balance. Not too much trouble with that. It's all about just finding the right distribution of the weight to make sure it stands up. But honestly, most of these stand without issue. So I'm pretty happy with these. And then, like I said, let me drop Motaro back in there so we can have the full team. They look great together. I mean, having them different size proportions kind of makes for a nice group shot like this. because you kind of have Kiji brother at the back, you can have Inu brother in the front, and it just really works. I think they look really, really fun. So I definitely recommend picking these up. Now, you might want to wait for the Yudo, because that is happening. The first wave of Yudo should have all 5 of these characters as well. They're going to have more stickers and things, so they will have more detail, but it'll be done with stickers instead of paint, so it's really just a matter of preference. There is going to be a box, I think, that has a lot more weapons for them, because none of these guys have a Dawn Blaster aside from Dawn Momotaro, and none of them have the sword. So I know that's something that I believe all of them should be getting. I think that box has enough swords for everybody, but I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure. I have to go back and check. The main difference with the Yudo set is Inu brother is going to have a lot more articulation. So I think it's definitely worth checking. Also, Kiji brother, I think, has different wings in the Yudo set. So I'm definitely going to be getting Yudo as well, and then I'll do a comparison when I get them and put them together. But for the most part, I think these are fun little figures. I think they work. I think they look good. They scale well with each other. You know, half of them come with accessories, half of them don't really, but it would have been nice if they could have at least each come with one weapon, depending, you know, regardless of what that is. But I think it's because probably Saru brother has a little bit more plastic to him because he's heftier. Kiji brother has the wings, and then the other 2, or 3 rather, just got little weapons. So I guess it makes sense to kind of keep costs around the same. But like I said, they look good together. This is a nice group shot. I really like this quite a bit. So yeah, like I said, either wait for the Yudo or pick these up or get both. But I think if you pick these up, you won't be unhappy with them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.